guys, my name is Divya and I belong to a place called Pune in India. I am a storyteller and I belong to a group called the Storytellers Pune. If you need to know more about them, there's a link in the description below. The story I'm going to tell you about today is called Salt. And the reason why this story is so special to me is because it was the first story I performed in front of a live audience. So let's not waste your time any further and let's get straight to the story. Salt. It was an incredible party. The DJ was on fire and everybody was having fun. There was this mixed crowd of people where if you needed to find people like yourself, they were there at the party. And for people like me who are ultimate foodies, the one thing that matters was the spread. And the spread over there was delicious. I mean, the thing that you're thinking about right now, that food was there at the party. And so everybody was having a great time. And there were a lot of many beautiful girls over there at the party, but there was one that really stood out. This doe-eyed, absolutely stunning woman who stood at the corner of the room. She wasn't wearing something very revealing, but there was something about her that got everybody very intrigued and interested in knowing more. All the men in the party were looking at her, and all the women at the party were wondering, why are these men even looking at her? What's so great about her? Of course, she was approached by a lot of people, but she shot them down. And then comes the entry of our hero. This absolutely ordinary guy, the kind of fellow who you wouldn't give a second look to. The simple, nice, sweet little boy goes walking to her and musters courage and says, uh, excuse me, I think you, I think you, would you, coffee? She smiles and she says, sure. And God knows what, whether it was the vibe that he gave out or God knows what, but she somehow agreed to go out with him. And so they left the party and headed straight to a cafe so that they could know each other. But this plan was kind of a flop. The reason being that they sat there for a good 5-10 minutes and he wouldn't say a word. She said, this is a nice place. He said, yes. Do you like coffee? Yes. Do you come here often? No. And she didn't know what else to say, so she just sat there and they ordered their coffees and things were very awkward. She really hoped she could leave and just head home. She was better off anyway. She was better off at the party or at home. And she started regretting being here. Just then, the fellow, let's call him Tim. Just then, Tim calls out in this crackling voice and says, excuse me, waiter. I need some salt for my coffee. And everybody in the room, everybody in the cafe turned towards him and started looking at him. What a weird guy. She was shocked. But she didn't want to jump to conclusions that, he's an idiot. So what she did was, it's better to clarify. So she asked him, why the salt for the coffee? He looked at her for a while and very nervously said, I belong to the coastal regions. So the water naturally has a little salty flavor. So all the preparations in the food have this slightly salty flavor. And that's why whenever I miss my home, I just put a pinch of salt in my coffee because it makes me feel good. It reminds me of a better, easier time. this totally made sense. She was also from a coastal region and she also missed home. And so they started talking about home, about family, about friends, all the things that they did in their childhood, and they hit it off. It was perfect. So much of laughter, so many things to say to each other. And this is how their friendship grew. They became better friends as the days passed. And eventually they became the best of friends. And I know what you're thinking. No, he was fortunately not friend zoned. And so when he asked her for marriage, she agreed. And soon they got married and they spent 40 years of their life together. Where every day in his cup of coffee, she used to put a pinch of salt because she knew how much it made him happy. Now you must be wondering, listeners, is the story over? No, it's not. There's a little more to it. So just hang on there and listen because things are going to get good. So after about 40 years of marriage, Tim dies because of an ailment, leaving our girl Sarah all by herself. She missed him terribly. One day she opened the cupboard to clear out some stuff when she found a letter. She opened it and it was in Tim's handwriting. It said, "My darling Sarah, I am really sorry about the fact that there are so many things that were unsaid between you and me. You are an incredible wife and a great partner. You're funny, smart, and so kind. I couldn't have asked for somebody better than you. But I have one regret in life, a terrible one. The regret is that I lied to you. You remember the first time I saw you? You were wearing white and you looked so incredibly beautiful, and I was so nervous. I didn't know what to say. So instead of saying I want sugar for my coffee, I said salt. Such an idiot. I didn't want you to think of me as an idiot. You know, what you thought of me mattered to me a lot. And so I came up with this entire story of the coastal region and me liking salt in my coffee. Unfortunately, when we got married, you used to give me salted coffee every day, and I hated the way it tasted. But I never could muster the courage to tell you. But darling, if I ever got a chance to relive my life again, it would be only with you. Even if it means 20, 40, 60 years of salted coffee all over again. Love, Tim. The letter in Sarah's hand was soaking wet with tears. She folded it and put it away. A week later, a common friend came to visit them and they started talking about their life and the way things are right now for Sarah. And then they started talking about Tim, and stories after stories rolled. And that's when the friend mentioned it. Tim had this vague thing, right? He used to have salted coffee. I mean, how did it taste? Sarah smiled at this friend and said, "Very, very sweet." So guys, that's it. That's my story, and I liked it. Let me know if you guys like this story. Leave it in the comment section below, and do like, share, and subscribe if it isn't too much. No compulsion, of course. And I hope to see you again soon, and take care.